Ahoy and welcome to this narrowboat adventure. Hi, my name's Jasmin and today I want to talk to you about what narrowboating books you should read while on your narrowboat or narrowboat holiday or while fantasising about having a narrowboat. So I want to talk about 3 different books, although kind of 5 different books today, and I'm going to start off with a series that I actually read on a tablet. And that was the Narrow Margins series by Browne. So this is a series of 3 different books, and the first one is Narrow Margins. This one talks about how after the recession, she and her partner had to sell their home to help with their business, and so her husband and their 2 kids, it kind of chronicles them finding their narrowboat, and then the first bit of living on it, doing it up, the highs and lows of working around your world while doing up your narrowboat while trying to live on it with children, and all of the ups and downs of that. So this book series I ate for dinner. I'm a really quite severely dyslexic person, but sometimes if I find a book and it talks to me and I find it engaging, I can eat it for dinner. And let me tell you, these 3 books probably only lasted me about a week. They're all so good, and I would say quite accurate to my experience. The only thing is that I've read in a couple of the reviews that it says the geography isn't correct. So I don't know the geography of the canals that well, so I have to assume that that's probably right. But other than that, I'd say these are definitely would recommend boating books. Next, I'm going to talk about the boat that I'm currently reading. This is Ramlin Rose, the Boatwoman story by Sheila Stewart. So I'm about halfway through this book. I started reading it after the video I made with Kate Saffin. With that video, we were talking with Kate about her play, a lot of which is actually based on this book. So her play is called The Idle Women of the Inland Waterways, and it's still on if you want to see it. So I saw the play and it's fantastic, and then I started reading this book almost immediately afterwards. So as I mentioned, I am severely dyslexic. I'm finding this a really difficult read. So it seems that the way that Sheila Stewart wrote this was that she found a bunch of the sort of last surviving real true blood boat women who were born on boats, worked on boats, grew up on boats, and people who just had it through and through in their blood. So there's a lot of jargon and lingo in this book because it's very much written in the way that these women would have talked. So basically she interviewed all of the women and then she kind of culminated their experiences into this one character, Rose. Packed full of stories, there's so much plot, and it's really absolutely fascinating, and so much history. And this is definitely the kind of book that I like, a book that is packed with fact and history and also written in a fictional way. There's another book that I really like that's not about narrowboating that's called My Year Living Danishly, and that book kind of does that. It does a lot of factual based stuff about Denmark and Danish culture, but through the eyes of this woman and through her story, and I feel like Ramlin Rose is similar to that. I'm only about halfway through and I've already been on a massive emotional journey and I'm really enjoying reading this. So the next book I want to talk about, I'm in mixed feelings about, because from the point of view of narrowboating, I don't find it to be terribly accurate. And also, it's called The Canal Boat Cafe by Christie Greenwood. I think Christie Greenwood must be a romance writer and not someone who's ever lived on a boat, nor someone that's ever worked in a cafe. I've run cafes, and I also grew up in the area that this book was written. So this was a perfect gift. It was a gift, and I really enjoyed the book, but I enjoyed it for the romantic story, and I enjoyed the plot points. I enjoyed the high stakes and the relationship of the woman. The main character at the beginning of the story, her mother dies, and then she inherits this cafe boat. So I really enjoyed the emotional journey that each character went through. But my God, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant here. It's not realistic at all. So it is supposed to be a narrowboat cafe, but there's no way in hell all of the things that this woman thinks that will fit in this narrowboat will fit in this narrowboat. I had to imagine it as a wide beam because it physically, the stuff she's saying is in this boat would not physically fit. Not even just that though. So it's supposed to be starting out in a marina, which makes it much more believable that she has an electric till and that she has a dishwasher and a safe and 12 tables, and what else did she say that she had a television, all this ridiculous stuff. Anyway, so basically though, throughout the book it seems like she goes on this bit of a jaunt away from the marina for about 6 weeks, and yet she's still using a dishwasher and an electric till. I just don't think those sorts of things make sense with a boat business. Like, realistically, you'll run out of water. Realistically, you wouldn't have enough power. You wouldn't waste power on an electric till when you could just have a box of money. Like, it's not the kind of business where you'd have an electric till. And also, from a cafe point of view, she has a ridiculous amount of customers. Like, she seems to need to bake trays and trays of baked goods throughout the day, every single day in this book. And I've worked in cafes in London and you don't need that much cake. Like, she's in rural villages in Ely and Cambridgeshire. She's not going to need that much cake. And from a business standpoint, she would not make any money ever, either. But then, the artistic licensing, I suppose. If you want to read a romantic novel set on a canal boat and you don't really care whether or not it makes any sense, then this is a great book. But I oftentimes felt that I was working to suspend my disbelief, which is not ideal. But all in all, I did enjoy the book and I read it to the end, which actually says quite a lot, because there's probably about 3 or 4 other narrowboating books on the shelf that I haven't even made it to the end of. If I was looking for a book to start reading as a first dip into my toes of narrowboating books, I would go for Narrow Margins by Marie Browne. Absolutely love those books. In fact, I might read them again. Although, maybe you guys can persuade me differently. In the comments, leave me your recommendations of narrowboating books. I would love to read some new books. So it's my birthday next Monday, so I don't know, but Sunday's video might be late. And it's because it's my birthday, and sorry. So thank you very much for watching. Please join us again on this Narrowboat Adventure by clicking subscribe. You could also go onto Facebook and search This Narrowboat Adventure, and then you can find me there. I just post new videos there, so if you prefer to get a notification through Facebook, that's the way to go. And thank you very much to my patrons. So patrons help to support the videos and have supported me enough that I've been able to get some extra equipment, and I'm sure you'll find that the sound is much better and some of my pan shots are much nicer, so that's all very exciting. So if you want to find out about Patreon, I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Again, remember to give me your boating recommendation books in the comments, and have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.